Hello, hello, hello. Boogie Reacts back again on this nice Sunday. And today I'm just going to be going over a couple of videos. And I hope you guys can tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section. I'll be linking down below all the videos in the description or the feed of videos. I may go through, maybe half the video just to get the perspectives. As you know, we're here to talk about the relationship and the dating crazy scene. If you think 2024 was crazy, dating in 2025 is even crazier. And the first one today is this lady who says, black woman, she says she's tired of dating black men. We're gonna see if she has a good reason as to why she doesn't want to date black men anymore. All right, just give me 1 second. 1 second. All right, here we go. She says she doesn't want to date black men. Let's see.
Or black woman, and I'm extremely independent. I've been living alone since I was 22 years old. I'm college educated. I have a career in corporate America. I have a very healthy income. I'm able to provide everything that I want for myself. I have no debt, and I live in a very high cost of living area. And I do this all by myself with ease. I take care of myself. These, by virtue, would peg me as the stereotypical black woman, except for the fact that I'm not obese, because that is what these crazy black men try to say is black women are undesirable, they're obese, they don't take care of themselves, they have nasty attitudes, which I have a badass attitude as well. So like,
Okay, at least she agrees she has a bad attitude. So she listed all these things she's doing by herself, things she has achieved, the money, you know, nice place, degree, all these things that sometimes the ladies like to tell men they bring to the table. But honestly, unless a man is broke or he doesn't want to pay your bill or anything like that, most guys don't care about all those accolades that women have. If she mentioned that she's kind, she's fun to be around, good conversation, most guys will be open to the idea. But she agreed. In her own words, she agreed that she has bad attitude. So any man would take a woman who doesn't have a degree, who doesn't make good money, doesn't have her own place, with a good attitude over a woman who has all these accolades with bad attitude. That's just the facts.
like I said, I definitely fall into the stereotype of a the undesirable black woman. However, none of that stops me from dating and choosing very consciously to not and never again date black men. And I have a little list here, which only took me about 3 seconds to put together, of why I don't date black men. Now, the first reason is because they're extremely, extremely, extremely
insecure.
How?
If you've seen my last video, then you know how I talked about black people, melanated people victimizing themselves to white people is not a flex. It's not something that is respectable. It's not something that's dignified. It's not really something that's going to help you propel and move forward in your life. I've never dated a black man that didn't talk about his
experience as a black man
and talk about how
the man is always trying to keep him down.
And it's so sickening. It's disgusting.
Okay, so sounds like you have trouble, I don't know, picking or finding men who are not victims. Because I find it very hard to believe that all the black men you've dated are always complaining and playing victims. I really find it hard to believe. Is it possible? Yeah, but the chances are very small. Now, if you've dated two black men who have called themselves victims in every situation, I can see that. But if you're saying all the men you have dated are play victim, I don't believe that.
And it's my experience dating every single black man that I've dated. They've always talked about how their experience as a black man in America is one that is filled with hatred and racism, I guess. Although secretly, I believe every single Black man would find themselves at a higher status if they actually had dated or possessed, was in a relationship with a woman of non-color. But that's really neither here nor there. I really, really hope that Black men find their preferences away from Black women so that they can continue to level up and do them and go about their merry way and be great. Another.
Okay, so I can agree with that. She's saying she doesn't want to date Black men anymore, but she's not the type saying Black men should not date other races. She's saying, hey, I don't want to date Black men anymore, which means she's going to date other races, but she's also saying Black men are free to date whoever they want. That's fair.
Topic in the being insecure, I noticed that Black men are really crabs in a bucket. Black men just can't stand to see someone doing better than them. They're very jealous and insecure as well. I don't know what this stems from. Regardless, though, instead of uplifting people, they want to bring them down and knock them down a peg to where they feel that they can be on top of whoever it is that they're dealing with. And I've noticed this amongst Black men that I don't even date. Black men who are supposed to be my mentors, Black men who are supposed to be leaders. As soon as it comes down to them being challenged in any way, when it comes down to them being questioned in any way, they need to throw their authority and force it onto me, in my experience, or whoever it is that is a Black woman. They just want to keep a Black woman down and keep a Black woman in her place. Now,
if you guys remember at the beginning of the video, she did say she has bad attitude. Those are her words. She says she has bad attitude. So sounds to me like when she's in a relationship or dating Black men, she likes to challenge them on everything. You know what I mean? It's like, babe, let's take a right here. And she's like, no, you take a right, you take a left. It's like, babe, let's go here. And then she's going to be quick to say, no, let's go here. Very few men are going to be okay being in such a type of relationship. Men don't want to be challenged on everything they want to say. You know, I'm not saying that if a man is leading you the wrong way, just go along with it. But it's not even just specific to a relationship. But if everything, even bosses don't like guys, employees who are always questioning their leadership and their ideas. It's okay to give your perspective, but if everything someone tells you, your man is telling you, let's eat this, let's eat this, let's do this, and you're always fighting back, very few men want that. Men want the peace. So she says she has bad attitude. So I'm not surprised that she claims that Black men don't like to be challenged. You know, no man wants, if men are already out here grinding and hustling with life, they don't want to come home and then have to go back and forth with you, fight over small things.
The next reason why I don't date Black men is because they're just too feminine. I'm going to be honest with you. Extremely feminine, lazy. Black men are just lazy as a hell. They're hella unhealthy. They die very young because they don't take care of their health. I get up and I go to the gym at 5 o'clock, 5:30 most mornings. On weekends, I'm at the gym when it opens, 8 o'clock. I don't ever see Black men in the gym. Now, granted, I live in San Diego, so there may not be that many Black men in general, but there are still some percentage. I shouldn't be the only Black person in the gym or the only one of 2 Black people in the gym. I see so many Black men walking around looking like they have one foot in the grave and one hand in the chicken bucket. And it's really unattractive.
Okay, this kind of sounds like hate rather than criticism. And the reason I'm going to say that is because 70 to 80% of people in the US are overweight or are not in shape. You know, so to single out Black men that they are not in shape, they're never in the gym. How about you pick the men who are in shape? How about you pick the Black men who are actually in shape, who work out? So for the few Black men that you saw in the gym working out with you, maybe you should pick those ones. You shouldn't be worried and concerned about the men that are not in shape. You know, how about you stick to the men who are in shape? I mean, it's no different from if I'm a guy and I'm complaining that, you know, I don't like to date single. Most Black women are single mothers. guess what? Maybe you should avoid the single mothers and go with women who don't have kids. It's the same thing. But if you, keep attacking, because she makes it seem like every black man she has been with is out of shape, doesn't go to the gym, is broke, is a victim, which I honestly don't believe it's true. Because she's not like 21 that she just started dating. So I find it hard to believe that all the black men she has come across are exactly the same thing she has listed. But remember, from the beginning she says she has bad attitude. So for me, this is the case of she has met the good black men that she's probably not going to talk about, but they just didn't want to deal with her bad attitude.
Attractive. I don't need to be canoodling. I don't need to be cooperating. I don't need to be associated with any man that can't take care of his health. And again, from all the black men that I dated, whether they were skinny, whether they were bigger, they just did not take care of themselves. And it's unattractive. I can't date them. Too feminine, in addition to being lazy. A black man's masculinity is not inherent. They're not masculine because they embody the qualities of masculinity, like being strong, like being organized, planners, like being disciplined. No. Black men are masculine relative to women. For example, black men's favorite line to say about black women is that
They're too independent.
too independent relative to who, babe? To you, babe? To the black men that say that black women.
No, black men say black women are too independent because that's what so many black women throw in black men's faces. And this is what you did at the beginning of your video. You talked about all this, having a nice house, having a good car, having a good job, having a degree. That's you throwing your independence in a man's face. So I'm guessing when you go to these dates with these black men, and the first thing you talk about is how you are accomplished, how you have all this money, how you travel, how you have your own car, how you have 1,000 degrees. Most men don't find that impressive at all, because at the end of the day, when the debt is finished, even if you say you make all this money, you're going to want him to pay for the first date. So you mentioning and laying out all these things that you have accomplished don't mean nothing if at the end of the day you still want him to pay the bills, you still want him to pay for the date. So black men are not intimidated by independent women. It's because you throw the whole independent woman in the man's face. You talk about how independent you are, how you don't need a man. That's why they find it an issue. It's not because you're independent. You're simply being an adult paying for your own bills. Honestly, you're just being an adult. But when you say, and remember, you have to figure out when she says she's independent of who? Of men, the same men she needs you to make money to pay her bills. So how can you say you're independent, you don't need a man, but at the same time you're looking for a provider? Those things can't go hand in hand. You know what I mean?
Women are too independent. They don't live alone. They don't own anything. They're in hella debt. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Yet they turn around and they look at a black woman who has all of these things going for herself, and they want to take her down, again, a peg to their level because they're insecure. But really going back to this masculinity versus femininity thing, which I think is kind of hogwash anyways, black men are very well known for expecting women to submit to them and listen to them, and you can't argue with them. You are to be seen and not heard. And it's just really not the way that the world works. They expect that when you say something that you need to believe it because they said it and because they're a man. Negating or brushing under the rug all of the other factors that they don't have going for them, that makes it so that it's very hard to trust even what they're saying or to listen to their advice. Because why would you take advice from someone who you don't want to switch places with? I wouldn't do that. And that's why I'm the typical undesirable black woman.
Okay, so you cannot say that men expect you to be submissive, but at the same time, I'm guessing you expect the man to be a provider and a protector, a leader, because you are complaining they're not masculine, you're complaining they're insecure, you're complaining they're victims, which means you expect them to not be victims, you expect them to be not insecure and to like want you for your bad attitude. So that means you have expectations for those men that you have dated or want to date, right? So in the same breath, guess what? Men have expectations as well. Because remember, a relationship is really transactional at the end of the day. You give something and you get something. There are things you expect from a man, there are things a man expects from you as a woman. So there is nothing wrong with having expectations. So if a man expects you to submit, I'm guessing you expect him to provide and protect. I don't see anything wrong with that. So for me, this sounds like, I don't know, you've said you've met so many black men, but to me, sounds like you need help with choosing or meeting good black men. Because I'm sure you have met them. Either you're friends on them, or you don't see them, or they're too corny for you, or they're too nerdy, whatever the issue is. Every one of us has met someone good. Now, whether we saw the person was good enough or not is one thing, but to say that you've never met a good, secure, non-victim, masculine black man who's in shape is a lie. It's a lie. And it's okay if you want to date other races, but you can do that without, attacking black men and complaining about how they're not good enough. All right, couple more minutes. Let's see what she says.
In the eyes of a black man, of course. Moving on to the third reason why I do not date black men anymore. I'm never going to date black men anymore because I mean, after 10 or so, I'm pretty much going to take the L. When I'm seeing these same qualities in all of them, and I'm seeing these same qualities in my elders, and I'm seeing these same qualities in people who are supposed to be mentoring me, people who are my peers, it's a loss. Like I'm not interested, right? So unmotivated. They're just extremely, extremely, extremely unmotivated. And it kind of goes back to that crab in a bucket thing. If you try to motivate them, they're not accountable. They don't hold themselves accountable to their health, to their wealth, to their well-being, but they also don't let you hold them accountable.
Well, it depends. You already said you have bad attitude. So the question we have to ask is, how do you motivate them? How do you talk to them when you're trying to motivate them? Do you raise your voice? Try to snatch souls, like, the way you're talking and do all the hand gestures like that? No man is going to be okay with that. Do you look down on them because you make all this money? Because remember, in the beginning of the video, the first thing that you threw at us is how much money you make, how great you are, how the cars, the place that you got, the good job, the educated. And then you say you have bad attitude. So that makes me think that even when you are talking to these black men, your conversation and trying to motivate them is not in good faith. You're looking down on them, rather than actually having a good conversation to motivate someone. It's one thing to try to motivate someone and tell them, hey, I really wish you the best, I want you to do this and that, rather than talking to them in a condescending way where you're trying to show them you're better than them. You already threw at us how you're independent. So that makes me know that even you're trying to motivate these guys, it doesn't come off as genuine. Anyway, man, shout out to you guys. You guys are watching. I'm not going to finish this video because it's too much. So I'll put the link down below in the description, but I'm going to move on to the next video. Welcome to the stream. The next video I'm going to be going from Lapif Network, and so they had a panel, and I think, lady from the Middle East, I think from Lebanon, she came on and she was talking to the black women. And she was simply saying that these women they don't have the options they got. Having so many guys in their DMs texting them is not the same thing as having guys who actually want to commit to them and ask their hand in marriage. And let's go on and see what she was trying to say. Shout out to Lapif, man. All right, let's go.
man, you got a good one, man. You might not want to fuck
I'm
that up.
sorry, man, I've been meeting the opposite men. I know that the men. I'm just telling you the men that I've
Hold on,
been encountering.
I
right?
get that, but that's
So
the
the men
thing
that
though.
I've
The
been
problem,
encountering,
hold on, wait,
that they
Aisha,
are surprised. They think
Aisha,
that they have
No,
Aisha,
let
I
her finish.
get
Let
that.
her finish. Let her finish
I
what
get
she's
that.
saying because she just exposed something.
I
She
get
just
that.
said something. Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, right? But you understand what you're saying, right? You're saying the men that you encounter, and I'm willing to argue that the men that you find attractive and that you encounter 9 times out of 10, the other women in your circle will also find attractive. So when you encounter a man and you know, like, man, I could definitely fuck with that man. He knows in his mind that that when you say I want him, there's other women that also in your circle that want him.
Mhm.
Those are the men that y'all talking about. You're not thinking about the man that you walked past down the street that you didn't give a shit about. You ain't thinking about the man that you walked past who worked as the greeter at Walmart. You didn't walk past him and say, "Oh my God, I could definitely give that man a chance." You didn't run into him because if you would have talked to him, he would have told you. Like if he walked up to you and say, "Hey, Miss Aisha, I would really love to take you out on a date," and you sat there and you was like, "Yeah," and you showed him a good woman, he would not be sitting there talking about, "So if I can't get you, another one will."
Facts.
Y'all don't see men. Y'all see.
That's facts. He's pretty much saying that most women don't see majority of the men. Now they may see like one good-looking guy like along the way during the day, but they don't see most guys. The guy at the checkout, the guy in the grocery store, the guy stuck in the shelves, the guy walking in the street. They don't care. You know what I mean? Which is true that most women like want the top 20% of men. That's kind of true because they have guys in their DMs. They have the good guys, the guys in the friend zone, but they will stick to that one guy who's like good looking, and they will forget all these guys. So when they have a bad experience with that one or two or three guys, they will say men are dogs. But it's like, how about all the good guys you actually don't even look at? All the good guys you ignore. All the good guys you friends on, all the guys who are not, bad boy enough for you, or who not like gangster looking. You know what I mean? So they ignore all the good guys. They don't see them. And then when they have a bad experience with these few bad boys, then they say all men are dogs. It is true.
That man.
If he get you Aisha, that nigga that greeting, excuse my language. If the guy that's greeting him at Walmart gets you, the next thing
He ain't about to sit here and be like, "Man, I could get another chicken. I can find another you." They like
that's a Beyonce song. That's y'all thing. The man gonna say, "Mama, I made it." That's what he gonna say. "Mama, I made it."
What a mirror.
And that's the whole thing. Like females really don't understand that from a man's perspective. Like 80% of men are invisible. Most men do not have access to most women, right? If we even talk about the 80-20 rule, we know that there's roughly 20% of men that's creating 80% of the babies. If we think about that, it's like, well, damn. You have to understand that all these women are giving the same guys a chance, right? Those dudes that you like, those dudes that you notice, those dudes that you can actually see when you walk by. Yeah, of course you're gonna be an asshole. You know why? Because you got it like that. Because all your homegirls want him too. Y'all competing for that guy or waiting for him to come around to you or whatever, but the desire is there. And the problem is all those dudes that you looked over because of some type of ick he activated or something silly, or maybe he was too short, or maybe you didn't like, that shirt he had on, or his hairline might be receding a little bit. But guess what? That dude would have been a great husband. He would have been a great father to your children and all that. But y'all said F him because he didn't.
Yeah, but the issue is and the issue I think most guys have is like women reject other good guys when they're younger. And then it's like when they have babies with the bad boys, then now they require the good guys they used to reject to come and, clean up the mess. You feel me? It's like, okay, I dealt with the bad boys when I was younger. Forgive me for being immature. But now that I'm older, and I got a couple kids. Now I want you. Now you come and, I have all these high standards. You better come pay all the bills. I didn't require my baby daddy to have a stable job, but you, the new guy, you better come in and have a stable job and come pay all my bills. I don't want 50-50. I was just watching Kendra G's show, and this woman bought a house for a man in prison. I kid you not, the guy was in prison for a couple of years, but she bought a house so that when he comes out from prison, he can have a place to stay. But now she was on Kendra G's show, hoping she can find a new man. And for the new man, you're not getting a house. You better come pay for the bills. So most guys look at that and it's like, it's not fair. Why is it that the guy in prison, the criminal that you had babies with, you bought him a house, but now when I come in, you want me to pay the rent for the house? It's like, it's not fair. Like, why are you requiring so much more from me, the good guy, that you didn't require from the bad boys before?
Provide you with something superficial. And that's
So,
crazy.
So,
Okay,
Fred,
can
Fred, talk,
Hey,
Fred.
I gotta let Amira go.
Yeah, she been.
Oh,
go ahead, Amira, because she been waving and.
I've been trying. No, I wanted to respond a little bit to you guys because they made a really good point, Aisha. They made such a good point, and I know you started understanding it more that they started explaining it. You started understanding it, but the thing I wanted to point out was that when they were talking, I was thinking about how all the women are like, "Oh, I don't want to be single. I want to find this man." And I was thinking, as the men were talking, that the majority of women, they don't have a reason to be single. If it were true that women actually saw men, as Trev says, women don't see men. Men are invisible. They walk past them unless they have something shiny, something fast, or something rich. They don't see them. They just walk right past them. And the other thing is that's why so many women believe that they have so many options. And the truth is, you have options for sex, but you don't have options for marriage, because even though a woman, just like Aisha said, oh, when I go outside, so many men will talk to me and try to get me. Yeah, they'll try to get you, but they're not really, the majority of them aren't trying to marry you and see you decently. The majority are just talking to you because maybe they see you're cute, or to say, oh, I think she's cute, I want to do stuff with her, but I'm not gonna keep her. And I think that's why a lot of women, when they treat men so disposably, is because they think, I can throw this one away and I just walk outside and another guy is trying to holler at me. But that guy is not going.
Yeah, because they have one time a girl, my friend, she showed me how dating up inbox. She had 500 messages from guys on a dating app. 500 messages. Can you imagine dealing with a woman who has 500 messages from men? Guess what? She's going to be easy. She's going to move on easily to the next man. It's like, you don't do what I want you to do, so I'm going to move on. The grass is green. I have more options. I have other guys who want me. If you're not paying for if you're not taking me to an expensive dinner date, there's going to be another guy in the DMs in my inbox asking me to take me out. So guess what? Most women will be like, oh, you don't want to pay for my expensive dinner? Johnny would do it. Peter would do it. Dan would do it. Steven would do it. So they easily move on because they have so many options, because they have so many guys who want them in their inbox. So she's right. Most women believe they have so many options and the grass is always greener because so many guys hit on them. But the issue is not all those guys want commitment. Not all those guys want to marry you as a woman. So it's upon you to decide that, hey, listen, is this a good guy? Or would you rather at the slightest something happens in the relationship and you're ready to move on because you have so many guys? And another point they touched on is a woman will reject a good man who walks past her and he says hi, but if that same guy came in a Benz or a Lamborghini, that same guy she just rejected can be the same guy in a Lamborghini, and if he said hi, she would say hi back and even want to have a conversation with him. It's crazy.
Going to marry you, he's not going to take care of you.
That's exactly what my question was. If it's so many marriageable wives, then why are you single?
Facts.
If you're such a wife, why can't you find a husband? Because I'm saying that you believe, Aisha's perspective, you believe that men think that they have more options than they do. When that isn't even a problem. That's not even a probability to say that it's true, because the person that is hunting knows how many options are available to them. Now, the person that is getting hunted, you don't know how many. You recognize the ones that are coming after you, right? And so most men know, like what Sweeney's saying, who they can approach and who they can't. And when I think somebody had said this, the current thing is that women believe that they deserve a particular man that they really don't qualify for.
Facts.
For example, I would beg to differ that the majority of the women, of course, as Ricky says, there's nobody on the panel, believe that they deserve a man that makes money.
Yeah.
They deserve a man that is already well put together, which means that he has money. They believe that he should already have the car, the nice things that he's supposed to have already. They're not looking to be what God says you're supposed to be, is to be a helper. And you are to be a helper to get him to where he is supposed to be. And Proverbs 31:10 even says that it's hard to find a wife because she's more precious than rubies.
Facts, man. That was facts. It was spitting facts. First of all, many women pray for a good man. But you know something they never pray for? They never pray to God to be a good woman to that good man. They just believe they are good as they are, and that good man should accept them the way they are. Let me repeat that. Women will pray to God. They will fast. They'll go to overnight prayers. They will pay tithe to the pastor. They'll go to the pastor for prayers to find a good man, a good husband. But there's one thing they won't pray for. They won't pray to be a good woman or to qualify for that good man. And God is not dumb. He's not going to give you a good man so that you can mess him up. You feel me? Because most women are like, what are you doing for me? How much money do you make? How tall are you? Do you like my kids? I already have kids. I come as a package deal. Are you going to treat me like a princess? Are you going to do A, B, C, D? They have a list of things they want from a man. But you know one thing they never have? They never have a list of things, of tangible things they're giving that man. Like he said, many women expect the man to do all these things, but they never think about, do I deserve a good man? Am I going to treat him well? Have I worked on myself? Have I got therapy? You know, what does that man want from a woman? Do I have those qualities to qualify for that man? They never think about those things.
And one of the things that women think that they are is a ruby but they're not. Because if you're a wife, then you would see men.
But that's why fathers are important, humble dad, because the father is the one who tells the girl, this man is not wanting you. He wanna, that's it. I'm not gonna say the words, but then the father is the one. And that's why I said father is so important, because in my case, we get married and like we were talking, Aisha and Ty, yesterday we were talking about the mahar. And I told you that virgin women they can ask for anything for marriage, you know, and during marriage, you can ask for 50 gold bars and you'll get that. If you're not a virgin, you can ask for 50 gold bars, but you might get 50 quarters. Right. So you don't, it just, you know, because of that. And that's why I think it's important, because the men are the ones who give the value to the women's. The women, if you ask a woman how valuable she is, she's going to say she's the most precious thing. She's this, I am wife material, I am this. But the man is the one who's going to decide if you are that, not you.
And that's what I keep
facts. That's facts. I think that's why they call in the dating market. They call in the dating market because in a market, there's a seller and there's a buyer, you know? So if you are the seller, in this case, the woman, you're selling your oranges and you claim no one is buying them. Maybe the oranges are not as ripe and they're not as good as you claim they are. Because if they're that good, you're going to have one buyer who's going to come test one and buy the whole thing. The same thing applies to men. And the only thing, the difference is, as men, we know what we qualify for. I may want an IG model all day, right? But I know it's going to cost me. I may want a Beyonce, but I know it's going to cost me. So I don't care how much I want 10 Beyonces, but if I don't have the moolah, if I don't have the money, it's never going to work. So as a man, I know that if there's a Beyonce who's like a 10 and there's a 5, I'm going to look at my bank account and say, okay, my bank account says I don't qualify for Beyonce right now. I qualify for this kind of woman. But for the ladies, whether it doesn't matter what they are, what work they've done of themselves, they all believe they deserve the top, highest quality man. They never talk about what they're going to provide to that high quality man. They never talk about what the high quality man wants from a woman. They only talk about what the high quality man should give them. So, and that's the crazy conundrum we have in dating right now. It's like both men and women, we need to look in the mirror and be like, okay, this is where I am in my life. What work have I done on my own to qualify for the person I believe I qualify for? If you're a dude and you're overweight, why do you think you deserve a woman who's like a model, a Victoria's Secret model? I mean, as guys, we have to be honest as ourselves too. If you're struggling paying your rent, why do you think a Victoria's Secret model is going to want you? She's probably going to be expensive. Those are factors men we also have to face. So the same thing happens to the ladies, man. You want the high earning, high, status, quality man. He's going to have some prerequisites. He's going to have some high standards as well. So yeah, you want him, but do you qualify for him? Anyway, man, shout out to Lapeef. We're going to be doing the next video from Lapeef again. Again, link down below to all the videos I'm reacting to. Shout out to everyone in the watching my live stream. What's up, guys? I see y'all. Comment down below. Let me know where you're watching from. Like the video, subscribe. So the next video I'm going to be doing is also going to be coming from Lapeef. And it's going to be coming from Lapeef. And it's going to be talking about divorces, right?
Want them to do. However, the crux, however, on the flip side, men can't make women do what they don't want to do.
All right, let me acknowledge, man. What's up, Black Rain? Black Rain says, to the women that don't want black men, no other races want you. Okay, so I think he says no other races want the women. I mean, at the end of the day, she may not want black men, but men from other races actually have to approach her at the end of the day. So that's the conundrum. It's like, okay, you don't want to date black men, but guess what? Other men from other races have to come to you as well. It's not like, okay, you don't want black men and other men are just lining up. No, they're not just going to line up. They actually have to come, walk up to you, and then, approach you. And then you guys have to go on a date and so on and so forth. It's not just going to be, okay, I don't want black men. Other men are just going to want me. It doesn't happen like that. Maybe she's not thinking about that part, because if other men from other races wanted her, she would be with one of them, but she's not. So that should tell you everything. All right. All right. Let me jump into the video.
And what we're noticing, and y'all just saw it on that panel, there was 5 women on that panel. And y'all heard, and matter of fact, Shan, you was on this panel a couple weeks ago when we was reacting to that channel. That the big girl specifically said that she wants a man to take care of her. She would love to be with a man that would take all these problems off of her shoulders. While at the same time, she would come back on a different panel and say something completely different that is completely at odds with what she said to begin with. So to to wrap this all around, there is no man that will love a situation like that. None on this planet would love a situation where to encounter a woman that only wants things to go in her way, and she gives almost literally nothing in return. She doesn't give anything in return. All she's willing to do is take from men, and she doesn't want to submit. If she doesn't even want to reason with the man. She doesn't even, neither one of them even want to deal with men like that. One of the ladies said she wanted to Amira's point. One of the ladies said that she wants to be married so she can have children, but she doesn't want to be with the man after she has the children because I can't stand to look at a man like that. What man wants that? I don't know a man on this planet that will want a woman that only wants to use him for the baby, but he has to marry her because she also says she wants to be taken care of. She also says she would love for the load to be taken off her shoulder. So a man will walk into a situation where he has to take care of a woman, make children with her, and then she's already having second thoughts of whether she even wants to be with him or not. I don't know a man on this planet that wants that.
Facts.
Very
Oh,
few.
I
That's why I
agree.
said
So
we would
just
opt
like
out
the
of it.
last time.
That's facts, man. And this goes back to what I just said recently. It's like many women want a good man, but they want the good man on their terms. It's like, let's say she has kids already from other men. She's like, I want a good man. I want him to accept my kids. I want him to accept the fact that I'm not in shape. I want him to accept the fact that I have an attitude. I want him to accept the fact that I'm going to be going out with my single girls. I want him to accept the fact that I'm going to talk back. I want him to accept me the way I am. It's like, no, the good man, the high quality man you want also has things he wants from his woman. Do you have those things? If the answer is no, you don't qualify. It's just that simple. All right. Someone says my stream was frozen. Comment down below if I'm still freezing or if everything is looking good.
I did not. I asked to say this today, and I said it last time. I don't agree with those women. I don't think that they, in my life, they're not the majority.
And the thing is that, and Shane, I don't think you necessarily agree with it, but I was just more speaking in general about the conversation. But we can't sit here and pretend like there's a reason why only 30% of us are married in the Black community. If we're gonna speak specifically about the Black community, there's a reason for that. And I know we keep saying that this is all just the internet and this is all just these people online, but these people them women had an audience that they were talking in front of, and you heard the cheers. You heard the women clapping their hands saying, yes, sis, you go, sis. When they were talking about prioritizing the whole phase, there were women in that audience that cheered. When they were talking about decentering men, there were women in that audience that cheered. When you go on the Shade Room, they have over 25 to 30 million people who follow them right now. That is a massive portion of a population. When you go on all these comments and you go on TikTok and you see all these toxic ass women that talk about how they treat men and what they want to get from men, but they don't care about what they do for men. You see the likes. You see they getting hundreds of thousands of likes. So them are all real people that see value in what that person said. And if you take that and then you look at the marriage rates in our community, you can sit here and be like, damn, I can see why we ain't getting married. If that's your mindset, I can see why nobody would choose you.
So
yeah, he's basically saying that when we have a group of women who say they don't want marriage or they don't want to submit or the man should do A, B, C, D for them, he's saying that other women don't check it. He's saying actually there's way more women who agree with those types of women rather than the alternative. So he's saying the reason the marriage rates are declining in the Black community is because when the no good women say something, other women join them. And when men see that, it's like, why am I supposed to marry a woman who's going to do nothing for me? She wants me to provide, to protect, do all these things, but what is she doing for me? I kid you not, guys. I need you to find me at least 5 examples Find me 5 examples where a woman is saying she's going to do something for the man she wants, for the good man she wants. And I'll find you 1,000 examples where the women are saying what the good man should do for them. In other words, there is more women who want a man to do something for them, but they never say what they're going to do for the man.
Oh, I personally think it's a lot more than that. People don't go to church anymore. They don't believe in a high. They say, "Oh, I believe in God." It's like a thing they say, right? But they don't follow, right? That's one. We took religion or out. Two, we're over sexualized. It's all about what I can get at the other person. Nobody's moving with intent anymore. It's all about what can you do for me in this moment right here.
Yeah.
That's our problem. So if women just close their legs, people date with intent and not what they can get from the other person, then we'll have higher marriage rates. But like somebody said, I don't know who said it earlier, why buy the cow when you can get the milk free, right? So it's not like it's people in relationships right now, you're getting wifely duties. She's cooking for you, she's doing all of these things for you, but you're never gonna marry her. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
So
not the catalyst for him not wanting to marry though. Just because she's doing wifey duties, that
then don't be with her. Why are you wasting her time? Why would
well,
you
that's what I'm saying. There's the answer to your why could be other indicators. She can be doing wifey duties and stuff, but that's not what's predisposing him to not want to marry her.
So my question
and to Humble Dad's point, that's something that we kind of tell men all the time on Kingdom Talk. Like, don't drag a woman along. You know, that's the mirror part of it, internalizing, not, you know, just dealing with women that you don't have any intentions with. We address that. We acknowledge it as an issue. I think the hard thing is it's just addressing the issue on the women's side and trying to hammer down on that. I mean, I think Sweeney made a good point when he exposed the amount of audiences that gather around and support and promote the foolery. But you kind of agreed to it, but you kind of took light off of it and pointed towards the church or dressing, when I think that was actually a stronger point. Even though not going to church.
It's the number one point. In all honesty, I know I didn't talk on it long enough, which I'm sure you will. I believe that's the first and foremost problem. What's going on today?
What is going to church?
Oh, going to church. Absolutely. Having fear in God. Absolutely.
I will tell you this. I've seen the mega churches and I see the sell out pews just filled. I can't really say that's the number one issue. I think it all starts in the household before you even walk out of your door to step foot in the church. And that's the reason why a lot of the guys on this panel is touching on the family unit.
I agree. Honestly, many of us didn't grow up in, married households. Many of us grew up in broken households, either single mother or single father households. Some of us foster homes, some of us on the street, some of us with our grandmothers. So many of us don't know what it means to be married. Many of us have not witnessed a full household with a mom and dad together for years when we grew up. Some of us, they divorced when we were growing up. Some of us don't even know our dads or even our moms. So we don't know what it means to be married. We don't know what it means to work through issues. We don't know what a loving relationship, a married one, means, what it looks like. So we are learning as we go. So guess what? That has also contributed to the low marriage rates. That has contributed to high divorce rates, because most of us have seen more divorces, right, than marriages. Most of us have seen more single households than married households. So how are we going to learn? No one has taught us, because personally, I believe marriage relationships are a skill. The same way you could learn to do one thing, whether, going to the gym, whether you learn how to be a mechanic, whatever skill, learning how to swim, it's a skill. You have to learn, you have to practice. I believe relationships and marriages are the same way. So we were not taught. So if you grow up not seeing it, it's going to be very hard for you to try to create something you have not really seen. No one has given us any marriage, advice on how to go about it. So the chances are that we are going to be married are slim to none. And Slim died last night. I'm going to be honest. That's why the divorce rate is higher than the marriage rate, and it's going to keep going the same way. But I know having conversations like this may help, but I don't know. We were never taught. So we need to preach the marriage, but I believe we also need to preach. We need to find a way we can teach each other about relationship skills. I believe it's a skill. It's not just about the love. Honestly, most people think about the love than Disney fantasy and fairy tales, but relationships are bigger than love, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Comment down below. I may be wrong, but that's what I believe. I believe relationships are more than love. They are a skill. You have to learn the skill of communication, the skill of working together, the skill of teamwork. You know, the skill of resilience. When things don't go your way, you need to be resilient, because it's not like every day you're going to love your wife, your husband, your boyfriend the same way you love them at the beginning of a relationship. The skill of reciprocation. You know, I don't have it all figured out, but one thing I've realized is that it's a skill. You have to learn those things, and most of us don't have those things, you know. Anyway, the last video I'm going to do is going to be let me see right here. I'm going to do just one more video. So this video is bad. All right. All right. This video is also from Lapif. Let me see. Okay. All right, guys, hold on. My Wi-Fi is acting up. Hold on, guys. My Wi-Fi is acting up.
No, for Humble Dad, it was something that you stated, and you were talking about the marriage rates. But the I know the feminine marriage rates, our marriage rates are down, but don't men control marriage? And in the defense of that,
Can you be more specific when you say men control marriage?
so if a man is in a relationship with a woman, he's the person who takes it to the level of marriage. And I'm saying this because Black men don't always date Black women. It's also interracially that they're not getting married.
Well, Black men marry Black women is 80%, and then when they are at a level of financial gain, it's at 90-something%, right?
Right,
So,
but I'm talking about in general.
right.
So
So
you were stating that Black women were not getting married, but they would need to marry somebody, right? And most Black women prefer to date Black men.
correct. And so your question is, do men control marriage? Well, yes, men are the ones that's going to be asking a woman for marriage, but that man would also have to be saying that there is a suitable person to marry. Would you agree?
Sure. And would you not agree that Black men don't necessarily just date Black women? They have in the Western world, you can usually date interracially, correct? They have options.
So Black men have options, and they still choose to mostly marry Black women.
Right, but even with the options of interracial dating,
Yes.
So what I'm saying to you is, if you have a bunch of men and they're saying, okay, I can't find a suitable Black woman to marry, I'm dating other women and they're still not married. They have the lowest marriage rates among all men across culture, across races, right?
Yes.
Would that not also need to be considered?
Yes, that should also be considered. But think about this for a moment, right? Because I know women like to bypass responsibility of not being married.
No. That's not what I'm doing. I'm asking you about men.
I'm explaining.
I take
Hold on,
responsibility.
Shane. You gotta let him explain, Shane. You gotta let him explain.
Let me explain why. Right?
Let him cook.
Because if the man prefers a Black woman, he doesn't see a suitable option. He then moves, right? The preference is Black woman. Why did he move? Why did he go to another direction and not go with his preference? Because he doesn't see that there is a wife in the Black community suitable to his liking. So he goes somewhere else, right? Now, if he goes somewhere else and he doesn't find what he is looking for, then there's a necessary thing that he should look within if he's the issue, right? You follow that, right? So if that is the case, which is not, the majority of guys are remaining single, Black men are remaining single because one article talked about that they are able to still get sex and not have to be married. And who is in charge of sex?
Women.
So again,
He was cooking, but I don't know, man. It's like very few Black men marry outside their race, and it's usually the athletes. And the reason women make it seem like so many Black men are marrying other races is because when an athlete who's famous does it, it's planted all over social media. They make it seem like one athlete equals to 10 Black men. And because he has money, like Johnny down the street, a Black man who's married to a white woman, because no one knows him, he's not making that much money. No one cares. But as soon as an NBA basketball player does it, then all of a sudden it's an issue because he's rich and he's taking money out of the Black community to a different race. And those are very few. It's a very few percentage of Black men who marry outside their race. Most Black men marry Black women. That's one. Number two, when Serena does it, Serena Williams, that former tennis player, marries a white man, Black women, if you've seen on social media, all celebrate. They all say how good, how she's making her own choice, and that's her preference. But when a Black man does it, it's an issue. So I'm asking, why the double standards?
I agree, but that would still be a man's problem, right? Because if he can marry, if he's not finding anybody, he too will be a problem. His marriage rate should not be. So what I'm saying to you is, I get that, you know, you only want to marry a Black woman, right? But the reality of it is there are also white women who have Black babies who are not married. There are many cultures of women who have Black babies who are not married. So my thing would be, are Black men not wanting to marry? Would that not be an issue? Because it's not just an issue with Black women, it's also an issue when they date other women as well.
That's what I said. They would have to look internally if that's the case. But Black men prefer, or any race prefer, to marry within their race.
Fact.
That's just what it is. So what I'm saying to you is that if Black women were more wifely, then you will see more marriages, is what I'm saying.
I kind of agree with that.
Basically, what he's saying is that Black men are, because of how race loyal, and this goes for both of us, Black women are also race loyal, but because of how race loyal we are, if we don't see marriage within our group, we tend to just stay single, or we just deal with other women, but we don't marry them because the preference is to still marry within our race.
So I think my point in saying that is, I think we focus so much on women.
And usually you're going to marry people who you're in close proximity with. So whether it's the people you go to work with, the people you go to school with, the people you're in the same environment with, usually those are people you're going to develop relationships with. So it just so happens that Black men are in proximity with black women. But as soon as one black man marries outside, and then they make it seem like every black man is doing it. But when a black woman does it, it's her preference. You see the double standards? Which for me, I'm like, focus on the people who want you. Focus on the people who give you what you want, what you deserve, or whatever you think you're worthy. Because I kid you not, the black women who have an issue with black men marrying outside their race, if they got everything they want from a white man, or I don't know, Latino man, they would go with him over a black man. Because if a black man is not giving them what they want, they wouldn't marry him. So it just makes sense, right?
And we don't focus on each other. I agree. Women have work to do, but so do men. We both have work to do. So we always focus on one and not on the other one. You can heal the other one, but it's not going to do anything if you don't do anything to the other one. You understand what I'm saying?
Shouldn't you work on the weakest link?
What you saying?
Shouldn't you work on the weakest link? Where the issue you should
work on the strongest. You should work on the leader. You're the leader. If the leader is strong and he's doing what he's supposed to do, the woman will fall in place because she is the weaker link.
How that works.
So what I'm
the reason I don't like the whole leader this, because she uses the whole leadership excuse or point when it benefits her. Because the same woman could say, I'm independent, don't need a man. And then on a different side, she's going to say, I want a man who's a leader. Like, you can't have it both ways. It's either you want a leader, you're going to submit, because in one point she's talking about a man being a leader, but the same woman could say, I won't submit. So those things can't go hand in hand. It's like they pick and choose when they want to provide a leader, and they pick and choose when they want to submit.
So, for example, what I'm saying to you is men want to be married because most men want to be married initially. If you was to go back and read and look and talk to 18-year-old boys, their mindset is that they will be married typically at a young age. They don't even know what the world is about to do and do to them, and not to be able to see, and also the women that they're going to be coming in contact with, which will change their position, because most young ladies in their 18 to 20s do not want to be married because women are talking about what type of man they should be getting, right? They talk about the swag and things of this nature, if he got paper or whatnot, when in actuality, the woman should be preparing her daughter to be married by 18, 19, 20, 21, and in those particular years. But women are the ones that are supposed to be responsible for developing wives. Is that true? Yes. And if there are wives available, men will be ready to marry them, is what I'm saying. Do men need work? Yes. I'm not opposed to that. I got 2 sons and I got 2 daughters, and I talk to them about the same. You already know how I rock, Shan. But I'm telling you, since I've been paying attention, women are not wives.
I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question on that.
I honestly think if women are not wives, I know some of you guys in the comments don't like when I say this, but I'm going to be honest, even men are not husbands. And it goes back to what I said before. None of us has been raised to be ready and fit for marriage. We have grown up in single mother households, single father households. We have not seen what it means to be in a marriage household. We haven't seen what it means to see a dad and mom together work through their issues and not get divorced and not fight. We have not seen that. So there is no way we are just going to wake up one morning and we are these people who are ready for marriage, both men and women. You feel me? So for me, it goes back to the fact that we have not seen it. We have not grown up in marriage, in married households. We have not grown up in 2-parent households. We have not seen it. And even the people who grew up in those households, the parents don't take time to teach and advise their kids on how to go about marriage and relationships. They don't. Most of us are here out just figuring it out. That's why if you're not divorced, you're either in a very unhappy marriage or you know, you don't want even to get married, you're just in and out of relationships, because we were never taught by our parents, because they were never taught either, because they were never married either.
Humble Dad, can I ask you really quick? I'll be really quick, guys. Humble Dad, is the Black culture woman matriarchy or patriarchy more?
Right now, it's a matriarchy because there's
Matriarchy is where the women are more in control of the family, are the leaders of the family, or are men the leaders of the family?
In general, it's a matriarchy because most of fathers are not in the home. It's 80%. Everybody know the percentages. In the Middle East, though, it's a patriarch. I lived in India, so I'm aware of that.
Really, you live in India? Okay.
Yes, in Ghana Nagar.
That's nice to hear. So this is what Shan said. You should work on the strongest person. You should work on the leader. If the leaders are women, then in her theory, shouldn't that be the person that she should work on?
I didn't look at it as a mate. I've looked at it as my man as a leader. I don't look at it as me to being a leader. That's why I thought of it that way.
But her statement is she believes that men are the leaders. That's her statement, right? She believes that men are the leaders in her statement, but she's not looking at that currently how Black community is. It's a matriarchy. She's not looking at it like that. She's trying to figure out how can she put blame on both, which is okay. But however, there needs to be a starting point of who we need to be working on first, because both are not able to be worked on at the same time. Because I know guys that are ready to be married and they cannot find suitable people. When I got back into the streets, as you will, the women that I talked to, I could not see how they were going to be married.
Are you married now?
Yes.
How long were you single before you got remarried?
18 months. And the only reason why my story is that I lost my first wife. So I was rocking to death do us part, right?
Right.
And so I'm able to speak to this position a little bit differently than most people.
Right.
I didn't have to get remarried, but I chose to because I have a family. I have 4 kids, and I understand what it means to have a wife in the household. And so I look differently than most dudes. And I'm telling you, if my wife was not ready to be a wife, she wouldn't have been wifed.
Ooh. So why do you think you were able to get a wife so fast?
Because I know how to look.
So it's on the man to understand where to look or what to look for.
Yes, and she got to be a wife.
And that's what I was going to say.
In real
what
fast,
M. White is saying. Hold on, let me just say this because you stated that one thing that stood out to me, Humble Dad, is that you stated we cannot work on both sides at the same time, but I don't agree with that, right? Because I feel that the only way that women honestly can get better is, like you stated, by other women teaching them the correct morals and values.
Yeah.
So as women or the women that you say are wife material are teaching other women who are willing to hear and take that teaching on, there should also be men teaching other men where to look for those specific type of women. And I think in the Black community, there is a lack on both ends. Because like you stated,
I mean, they basically just said exactly what I said a couple minutes ago. We were never taught these things. You know, it's easy for me as a man to seek out a good looking woman, thick, big booty and everything. That's easy. But it's not as easy to seek out a peaceful, supportive, kind, you know, easygoing, good communication kind of woman. I need to be taught that. And one of the ways I can be taught something like that is if I see it, if I saw it in my own household, if I saw it in between my mom and dad. But if I didn't see it, it's even going to be very, very, way harder. And even then, if I didn't see it, I would need to seek out the knowledge. But most of us don't. We just learn as we go. We think we know it all. We think because she looks good, she's a good woman. The same happens to the ladies. They think if a man has money, he's a good man. Yeah, he's going to buy you whatever you want. But does he have the husband qualities that you want? Yeah, sure. You finally, okay, ladies, you finally have been praying for God to give you a man who's a provider, who's a protector. You got the man, But do you know what that man requires from a woman? Are you that woman that he wants? Have you been working on yourself? Who taught you how to do that? I mean, you didn't see it when you were coming up. You didn't see it when you were growing up. Your mom was never married. You don't even know who your dad is. So how are you going to learn how to treat a man the right way? You didn't see it when you're growing up. You feel me? So at the end of the day, most of us are struggling out here. We don't know. Like I said, relationships are a skill. Marriage is a skill. Communication is a skill. Being kind is a skill. Those are things we learn as we grow. And those are things that are key to relationships and marriage. So if marriages are going to be different or be better in the Black community, we need someone to teach us. We didn't get it when we were younger, so we need to find ways, to learn. If we don't, divorces are going to go higher and marriages are going to go lower and lower, because we didn't grow up seeing it, and there are no people out here teaching us. But I guess conversations like this, like that guy, he's married. He has been married before. He got married again. We can listen to him. He can give us his perspective, and we can learn from him. What do you guys think in the comments? I see here this lady here. She's saying cap. What do you mean? What don't you agree with? I got a couple more minutes before I log off. What's up? Talk to me, guys. I see you guys. What's up? How is your Sunday going, guys? What's up? Thank you for all you guys being in here. I'll be doing more live streams every Sunday. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Let's see what Sony says. All right. Sony says, sadly, I've met too many sisters and Dominican women who also made the same decision with Dominican men. Okay. And then we got Jervis. I think Jervis was in my comments the last stream I did. Jervis says, hey, what's up? I'm not woman bashing, but the good women and the bad women are on the same page and support each other, especially for finessing men for money, like she's going to do it. I kind of agree with what you're saying. And I think this is because of social media. So when they see Ciara, who had a baby with Future on Instagram, and finally there's a man like Russell Wilson who comes to save Ciara, guess what? Now so many ladies agree with that, and then they're like, you know what? I can have a baby, and there will be another. I'll have my own Russell Wilson. They actually call it the Ciara prayer. You feel me? They're like, I might as well have a baby with some bad boy, and I have a Russell Wilson to come save me. So I agree with what you're saying, that they agree. The good women and the bad women agree with each other, but I think that's because the good women fear holding the bad women accountable. So like she said, women need to hold women accountable and men need to hold men accountable. All right, Jervis. He says, in her life dirty, the main man, the side man, and the F-boy are all utilities. There's no love in 2025. I mean, I see what you're saying. For me, honestly, the whole love thing, I think movies didn't help at all, because many of us believe in the whole love fantasy and all that BS. But we were taught about the love fairy tale, but we were never taught about the hardships that come through with relationships, what we have to face, what we have to go through, communication. We were never taught those things. Again, it goes back to the fact that we didn't see it growing up in our own households. Our parents didn't teach us. You know why they didn't teach us? Because they were either divorced, we grew up with single mothers or single fathers, some of us in foster homes, so we didn't see it. So how are you going to be a good wife or wife material, husband material, and you have never seen what a good married household looks like? Clarence, what do you mean, thank God for small favors? What does that mean? Clarence, what do you mean? Thank God for small favors? What does that mean? All right, guys. Thank you guys for all of you have tuned in to my stream. I'll be doing another stream tomorrow, but for Sundays, for sure, it looks like Sunday is my day. I'll be doing streams and going through videos and having these conversations and seeing what we can do better, because dating, marriage, relationships is even getting crazy in 2025, you know. All right. Thank you to Clarence Jervis, who was in the chat. Sonny, what's up? I hear what you're saying. Who else? Madame Bennett said cup and then she ran away. I don't know what she meant by that. But guys, subscribe to the channel. You know, I'll be coming back next Sunday. Look out for more content. Till next time. Peace.